Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Sorry it's been more than a week now. I got a little sick and I'm not fully healed just yet, but yeah, I got a little sick, so I couldn't make a video for you guys last week, but I'm back, and today I wanted to talk about a book that I finished reading. I like to read, but I'm not like this huge reading person. I want to become someone who reads a lot of books, but I don't. I figured once I finish a book, I can let you guys know what I thought about it and give you some of the statements that were made in the book. I like to write down things that I didn't know or things that I feel are important, and hopefully we can both learn something together. I have my cafecito, so I am ready to talk about this book. But before I tell you which book we're going to be talking about, I'm also going to be doing my makeup. I have like an hour and 15 minutes to do this video because I have to go to work. And the makeup that I'm doing is not a simple, natural looking kind of makeup that I usually do for work. It's going to be a bit out there. So yeah, everyone's going to look at me today probably saying, why do you have a shit ton of makeup on? And I'm going to be like, because I want to. Okay, so the book that we are going to be talking about today is How to Speak Dog. I am a huge animal lover. I'm a huge dog lover. My first pet was a dog. It was a Cocker Spaniel, and his name was Charlie, and I called him Charles. He was my everything, and he passed away like, gosh, maybe like 8 years ago. It's been a while, but he grew up to be probably 16, 17, 18. He was an old dog. He lived a long life. And so I've always wanted to have my own dog, but in the back of my head, I always thought like, I don't really know much about dogs. So I grabbed this book and I decided to read it to see if I can improve my understanding of how dogs work, how they act, what means what, and I did get a pretty decent amount of information, so I wanted to share that with you guys. So let's get the makeup going and talk about How to Speak Dog by Stanley Coren, if you guys want to read a little bit more. And before I get started, I want to thank everyone who is subscribed to my channel. I really appreciate all the love and support. If you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Click the like button. Leave me a comment. I love reading your guys' comment. It's a way for us to communicate. And let's get on with the video. The first thing I want to talk to you guys about is when it comes to dogs, being an alpha is like one of the biggest things in their lives. Either being an alpha or following an alpha, deciding who's going to be the alpha. But dogs are pretty competitive. And because of this, because dogs are pretty competitive, that means that there tends to be a good amount of fighting between them, which is super sad to see. You know, I've seen my fair share of dogs fighting, but one of the main reasons why they fight, why they do anything, is to establish who's alpha. Now, in this book, it gave me 3 solutions of what to do if dogs are fighting. And I'm gonna tell you right now, these 3 solutions that I read are not guaranteed. How do I know? Because I've tried them all. And it can work, but it's not guaranteed that it will always work. So one of the things you could do that it said is throw a blanket over them. The second thing, throw water at them. And the third thing is to drop like a pan or something to make a loud noise. And that should separate them. Now, I think this probably works a lot better if they're like fighting, but not aggressively fighting. Like they're you know, having a heated argument with their teeth, but not like where they're like, oh, I'm gonna rip you to shreds. Like once it gets to that point, like, ooh, it's hard to come back from that. So I have tried all of these. Do they all work? Sometimes, but not all the time. That's why I say it's not a guarantee. Another solution that I got from my brother was to put your thumb up their butthole. I have not tried that, but I can assure you that someone that I know has tried that and it didn't work. So, like I said, these are solutions that can work. You can try them out. Hopefully you never have to, but you know, you could try them out, but just know that it's like not a guarantee. But yeah, if you ever come across two dogs that are fighting, now you know what to do. Okay, when it comes to dog and urine, they want to pee on everything. We know this. But sometimes, and I didn't know this, but sometimes if you ever notice that there's like a urine stain a lot higher than what it usually is, that means that the dog probably is trying to tell other dogs, hey, I'm the alpha here, and if you want to be alpha, you gotta pee up here. And I'm pretty sure most dogs don't. They're like, what the fuck? Like, I'm not about to jump and pee at the same time. But some dogs are they're all about that life, so they will jump and pee on and make their mark. And I'm actually curious to see how many of you guys have dogs that do that will literally jump and then pee on whatever object. I'm actually kind of curious if that actually happens. I'm sure it does, but I don't think I've ever seen it. But it makes sense. There is this story in the book where there was this family who planted flowers in their front yard, and whenever dogs would come by and walk by their house, they would destroy their flower beds. And they got so upset that they're like, what the hell? First of all, I'm thinking, like, why didn't the owners do something? Like, why would you let your dog just mess up a flower bed? But anyways, they would have to replant and replant because dogs kept coming and messing with their flowers and their garden and stuff. So one day, it was suggested to them that they should put their own urine on the flower bed, and supposedly that's gonna tell the dog to, you know, get away. So apparently they had like two, one on each side, and they put urine only on one, and they did see the one that they put urine on was unbothered, and the other one was all messed up, the one that they didn't put urine on. So might be a solution, might not be, but it's worth a try if you have that problem. Also, if you ever see a dog just like showing you his teeth, like they're literally just, they're not making any sound or anything, they're just showing you their teeth. A lot of people take showing teeth as a sign of aggression, but sometimes they're just smiling at you. You know, we smile with our teeth, they see that, so they think, oh, let me smile with my teeth, and that can get a wrong reaction from somebody, you know, who thinks, oh my god, this dog is showing me its teeth, it's gonna attack me. But no, like sometimes they're smiling, and that's when you kind of have to have knowledge of their body movement, their body language, you know, what sounds they're making and all of that. Because having that knowledge will make you understand what your dog is trying to tell you. That's huge in this book. Body language, sounds, you know, all of that has a lot to do with, like, us humans, you know, we check each other's body language and all of that, the sounds we make, where we look, and that helps us determine like what they're feeling. Same with dogs. So now supposedly a growl showing no teeth means the dog's having fun. If I'm guessing they're showing teeth and they're growling, then you need to probably step back. But if they're just, you know, growling, but they're not showing any teeth, they're just trying to tell you, this is fun, I'm having fun. Apparently dogs sweat from their feet pads. I don't know if this is true with every dog. I'm curious if you guys know that, let me know. But you won't see, you know, dogs sweating from their head like we do, or underarms or nothing. Like, they sweat from the soles of their paws. Apparently, when you are sitting down and you have a dog come up to you and just put their paw on top of your, you know, your knees. You ever wonder why they do that? And sometimes it is the dog telling you, I have dominance over you. I'm the alpha between you and I. So be careful with that. But it could also mean like they just want your attention and they're just trying to get it. So get to know your dog and know if he's doing it because he wants your attention or they're trying to establish dominance. And if they are trying to establish dominance and the dog thinks that they're the alpha, you're in big trouble. Big trouble. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen like two female dogs hump each other or two male dogs hump each other. And, you know, they'll even say that their dog is gay or whatever. But just because you see two dogs of the same sex mounting each other doesn't necessarily mean that it's a sexual thing. A lot of times they will do that to establish, again, dominance. So not everything is sexual. Sometimes they're just trying to, you know, determine who's alpha. So don't be nasty. Apparently back in the days, Eskimos viewed their dogs as pretty much working animals, you know. But from time to time, they would get, you know, they would get attached to a dog. And apparently any dog, you know, who was a work dog, they would give them names like Speed or Furry, or, you know, just like things that describe their character. But once they would give you a human name, like if a dog ever received a human name from Eskimos, that means that they now had a soul and they were important to that Eskimo. If Eskimos didn't give like actual human names like Richard or Stanley or Sophie or Maria, like if it wasn't a human name, they wouldn't have souls. But if they received a human name, then they would have souls and apparently go to dog heaven. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys know if Eskimos still believe in that, like, or if anybody believes in that, let me know. I'm curious. I know a lot of you guys like to cut either the tail of the dog or their ears. You know, you guys do that to make them look tougher or whatever the case. But if you do that, I just want you guys to know that you are making it harder for them to communicate with other dogs, because like I said before, dogs look at the ears, they look at the tails, they look at the mouth, they look at the eyes, the posture, the stance of the dog, and that helps them communicate with each other and understand what they're feeling, what they're going through. And if you cut someone's ears, if you cut a dog's ears, for example, it makes it harder for them to communicate with other dogs. And that could be the reason why, you know, if you have a dog who's a little on the feisty side and tends to not get along with dogs too much, it's probably, that could be a potential reason why, because he's not able to communicate with them, because he's not able to show them what he's feeling through his ears. So just to keep that in mind, especially if you're interested in having your dogs be around many other dogs, don't cut anything off. They're beautiful just the way they are. If you are ever in a situation where you have a dog in front of you and they just seem like they're not trusting of you, they're a little agitated, they are stressed, they're feeling scared, any of those emotions you see from a dog, and they are telling you like, hey, like, back off, or hey, I'm alpha, like, show me respect. If you get that from a dog, one thing you should not do is, if you want to avoid a confrontation with that dog, is stare into its eyes. If you stare into a dog's eyes, that tells a dog that you are ready to fight and you mean business. So that can lead them to attacking you. So if you ever are in that situation, make sure you don't look directly into their eyes. Now, whenever I would see a dog wag its tail, I immediately thought, oh my God, they are happy ducks. But sometimes that's not the case. If you ever see a dog wagging its tail, if their tail is low, that means they're happy. But if they're wagging their tail and their tail is high, that means they are being protective. So keep an eye out for those high and low tail waggings. Now, if you ever see two dogs head to head and they seem like they're trying to figure out who's alpha, if one of them doesn't want to be alpha, what they'll do is break eye contact and lower their heads. Just because there's two alphas doesn't always mean that there is a fight to be had. Sometimes they can decide, you know what, let's just be two alphas here and let's not fight today, but let's give each other some respect. So when that happens, you'll see them kind of become into like a cross, like a T kind of thing. The dog will approach them on the side, and then you'll kind of see them do like this dance going round and around. That just means, hey, you know what? I acknowledge you're an alpha. You acknowledge I'm an alpha. I'm not trying to fight today. Let's just respect each other by doing this dance. So if you ever see dogs like that, that probably usually means that they're both alphas, but they don't want trouble. They don't want issues. So if you ever see a dog sitting with one of its paws up, that's a sign of stress. Just so you know. And I know this makeup is looking a little crazy, but it's gonna come together. It's gonna come together. So apparently it says that if dogs are messing with your things, urinating on things where you don't want them to urinate, they recommend you put ammonia on it, and that tends to help with dogs urinating on those things. So apparently dogs, female dogs, can tell the gender of a person. But not only that, they can tell whether it's an infant, an adolescent, or an adult. I'm telling you, females are very intelligent. Now, if you ever wonder why dogs do that thing where they just come up to your crotch and they start sniffing you, it's probably because they smell the odors that you are producing, and that usually means, you know, the smell you have after having sex, the smell you have when you're breastfeeding, the smell we have when we're ovulating. That is an interest for dogs. And in case you didn't know, if you ever lose your sense of smell, that is called anosmia. You're welcome. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about cats. I pretty much was always a dog lover and not much of a cat lover because I grew up with dogs, but cats are growing on me, not gonna lie. When it comes to cats, the lower ranking cats ignore high ranking cats. They are not submissive like dogs. All cats purr at the same frequency, which is 25 cycles per second. Meow sounds. When a cat meows at you, that is usually for humans. That is a sound that cats do to communicate with humans. You never really hear, apparently, you never really hear a cat meow at another cat, which I'm gonna keep an eye out for that one because pretty sure they meow at each other. When a dog wags its tail, it's usually telling, the human, I'm happy and I'm approachable. When cats wag their tail, it's the complete opposite. It's more of a distance increasing signal. So, cats are funny, man. They are ruthless. So the book gave me 10 dogs to rate them from most puppy-like looking kind of dogs to most wolf-like looking kind of dogs, and I thought that was kind of interesting. So I'm gonna name them to you. And the most puppy-like dog apparently that there is the Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Number 2, Norfolk Terrier. 3, French Bulldogs. 4, Shetland Sheepdog. 5, a Cocker Spaniel. There's a ton of different Cocker Spaniels, just so in case you didn't know. 6, Munsterlander. 7, a Labrador Retriever. 8, a German Shepherd. 9, a Golden Retriever. And 10, the most wolf-like dog there is. I wonder which one it will be. Siberian Husky. Alright, I applied some fake lashes here off camera because you know how it be with those lashes sometimes. You know how it is sometimes. But yes, when approaching a shy or anxious dog, like I said before, you don't give eye contact. You approach them at an angle and you crouch down. If you're approaching a non-fearful dog, you allow them to sniff your hand. And make sure your fingers are curled. You're using a low voice and you are saying their name. If they hear you say their name, that kind of gives them like, oh, maybe we're friends since he knows my name. Gives you a little bit more of a trust. You don't want to put your hand on top of their head, anything above like their eye level, because that to them will make it seem like you are trying to have dominance over them, and they won't always react very nicely to that. So don't pat them on top of their head. I mean, it's not a guarantee that they'll always like do something if you do that, but it can happen. All right, sorry guys. My camera ran out of battery and I don't have time to charge it because I have to go to work. So I'm just gonna be using my phone for the ending of this video. But I wanted to read a passage from the book, and this is how to deal with a situation of you being in front of an aggressive dog and what to do in that situation. So, when a dog is signaling a threat, the first thing to remember is that you should not turn and run. This will trigger the dog's pursuit response. Your reaction to this signal should be to cast your gaze slightly down and to the side and blink once or twice. These are submissive, pacifying responses. Open your mouth a little bit, which indicates a bit of counter threat, suggesting that you will respond to any aggression if the dog initiates it. Next, take a few slow steps backward, never glancing directly into the dog's eyes. If you can manage to control your breathing enough, turn your head a bit further to the side and see if you can force yourself to yawn, or to say something soothing in a high-pitched tone of voice. When you are a good distance away, turn so that your side is towards the dog. If he moves towards you, face him again. Then give another exaggerated set of eye blinks. Look to the side and down and continue to back off slowly. If he shows no increase in his arousal and no threatening change in behavior when you turn your side towards him, you can slowly walk away. Keep your eye from directly meeting the dog's and try to move as smoothly as possible. Yes. So there are 2 factors for a dog to be under your full control. And that is the acceptance that you are the alpha and the want to please you. If you have those 2 factors, you and your dog are golden as to who's the boss. And the last thing we are going to talk about is how to quiet your dog. You pretty much have to grab them by their leash, pull it up so you're kind of like choking their airways and pressing down on their nose. So kind of like a beep. And doing this consistently and saying, be quiet, whatever your dog's name is, be quiet, Charles. This should help with teaching your dog, okay, this means I need to stop. But yeah, that was some of the statements that were made in this book that I thought were kind of interesting, and I definitely learned a good amount from this book, and I hope you guys learned something along the way as well. But yeah, let's learn as much as possible out there, and let's build our knowledge together. And this is not something I'm going to be doing too often, because I did take probably a year to read this book. I probably read a book a year. That's how slow of a reader I am. But like I said before, I'm trying to improve on that. So maybe my goal next year is to read 2 books next year, maybe even 3. Why not? But yeah, I am kind of almost done with my makeup. It's pretty much done. I just want to put like a little bit of concealer, maybe some blush, some lip gloss, but pretty much it's done. What time is it? It's 9:52. I have to leave here by 10, so I have 8 minutes to get dressed, put my shoes on, make lunch, and go. So I gotta go, guys. But thank you so much. Thank you so much for staying towards the end of this video. I appreciate and love you guys so much. I hope you guys learned something, and if I said anything that was probably not correct, let me know. Give me your opinions on dogs. I want to hear from you dog lovers, and even those of you who don't like dogs, cat lovers, whatever. Let me know. But of course, obviously, everyone, let's just be nice to each other. We all have different opinions. We all think differently. We've all gone through different experiences, and let's just try to respect each other, learn from each other, and have an amazing day. Let's freaking do it. Okay, so I love you guys. I will see you in my next video, and I'm actually going to be posting this video before Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. It's going to be a really hard one for me. I know it's the first year without Cass, but I just want you guys to know that I am
I have so much to be thankful for, even though this year was the worst. I have a lot of things to be thankful for, and you guys are one of them. So thank you so much for your love and support. Happy Thanksgiving. Don't stop being grateful. Don't stop being thankful. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.